I got to the last boss of the Light Brigade this morning, and it took me about 2 hours and 15 minutes, during which I had to play the entire run without stopping to take a break because the game doesn't really pause when you use the options button. It just keeps going, and there's no option to do something like, say, pause your run and come back to it. So it's asking a lot for a VR game for you to have to play it for a solid couple of hours in one go. I wish the game was better to justify what it's asking, but it's mostly pretty frustrating because bad guys do a ton of damage. You have very little health, even when you upgrade your health a little bit. I have an upgraded weapon, and enemies still take a ton of firepower to go down. The actual gunplay itself is pretty fun, like shooting bad guys doesn't really get old in VR, but the fact that enemies can do so much damage to you in such a short period of time, and you have such little health, and you burn through ammo pretty quickly because everything takes 7 billion shots to die, just makes for a frustrating experience. Like, you can try and, aim for headshots and all that, and that works early game, but towards the end of the game, even with an upgraded rifle and a barrel that literally added double my damage to my gun, I was still having a lot of trouble killing bad guys in less than 8 shots to the head. And I had a holographic sight, so it made it a lot easier to actually hit them in the head, but they still refused to die. You also get some cool things like got spells, like I believe this one is the same one I'm used to using, which causes you to fire off little homing balls, homing on enemies. And they do a tiny amount of damage. As you can see, enemies are sharpshooters who can hit you from across the map with no problem. And the spell I have there is the same one I had on my most successful run where I got to the last boss. And it doesn't work on the boss. Like, it's straight up, you can't hit the boss with it because the spell just doesn't work. So that felt really good. Being a roguelike, your run is very much determined on the things you find in it. So you get these little chests that have some stuff inside. You just throw them open. You get some tarot cards that do some fun things, like you kill things that are less than 10 health, or things that have 5% health will become friendly. Like, these are all completely worthless to you because things have so much health that 10% is still a ton of health. Or it's just useless. Like, I got a bunch of power-ups that were things like they caused enemies to slow down when you hit them, and it would stack repeatedly and just have no effect. Enemies would still just continue to fire at normal speed. There was the one that had a chance to blind enemies, so they'd have less accuracy, and then they'd continue to murder me and fire across the map. And being a randomly generated roguelike, there's often situations where you walk into an arena and just have no cover, and have like 4 or 5 enemies in front of you. It's like, well, guess I'll just die. There's a wide range of different weapons you can use. They never come loaded for some reason. You have to play with other classes to unlock more of them. So like I had to spend about an hour and a half playing as an SMG class to unlock a couple of our more interesting ones. And some of those weapons are just god-awful. Like, the SMG is designed for close range use, but if you get close to these enemies, because they can hit you for a third of your life bar in a single hit, like I've taken 2 hits and then close to death, it's really discouraged for you to get close to enemies. So any classes that depend on you getting close to the enemies just result in you dying. So maybe that's a skill issue, maybe I'm just bad at it, but I wanted to like this really badly. I got a good 7 hours into it with a bunch of runs, leveled up a bunch of classes, and I'm going to head back to the hometown just to show that I have, played a fair bit of different classes. Oh, there's also a mechanic where you cash in your souls at bonfires and use those points to level up your guys. But again, the upgrades are very incremental. I actually do like these little animatics you get for displaying the story whenever you die. I kind of wish I'd seen more of them, but each of my runs was pretty long, so I haven't seen many. Also, some of the loading screen tooltips are completely wrong now as well, because I think with the recent patch they changed how the whole game works. So it will tell you things like rescue people to unlock new classes, and that does absolutely nothing. Like I rescued someone after beating the second boss, and I have no idea where she is in the home base because there's no indicators of where anyone is. So as far as I know, didn't do anything. But yeah, level 11 rifleman, because the basic rifle is the best weapon in the game. 5 scout, 5 pistolier, and 3 assaults. Haven't unlocked militia yet. I haven't, Luna, no. But honestly, I just don't want to play any more of the game, which is a real shame because, you know, it could have been a really good roguelike, but it's just painfully hard and unfun. And the fact that they ask you to do such long runs without the ability to pause and come back to them, it's just stupid. I'm not a VR expert by any means, but even coming up to 2 hours and change for my last run where I got to the last boss, it was just too much. I was starting to get pretty nauseous by the end of it, and that's not the sort of thing you want to have when you're fighting the last boss who can hit you behind cover with attacks that you can't see coming. So, yeah, I can't recommend the Light Brigade. I'm going to trade it back in next week and finish and play Mortal Kombat 1. Just not my cup of tea. So far, the best shooter I've played in VR is still After the Fall, so pick that up if you want to shoot things in VR. Thanks for watching.